For your work in the field of ethnobotany and biodiversity conservation with special focus on wild food plants. You have published 10 research papers, 4 books, and have also written 22 popular articles on the wild edible plants in various Hindi and English periodicals. You also run a popular website and YouTube channel on Himalayan wild food plants. Presently, you are principal investigator of ongoing DST-funded research project on traditional processing of wild edible plants of 6th Tehsil of Mandi district of Himachal Pradesh. Their medicinal, nutritional and economic potential plus value addition by analyzing scope for latest processing techniques. Ma'am, you are honoured by Rural Development and Panchayati Raj Minister of Himachal Pradesh for active involvement in the preparation of People's Biodiversity Register of District Mandi of Himachal Pradesh during Corona period. Now I request Dr. Sunil Kumar to honour our guest, Dr. Tara Singh. Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for the nice introduction. As ma'am explained that my field is wild edible food plants of northwestern Himalaya. And today I will speak with you some wild edible tubers of this region. We all know that we are blessed with rich biodiversity. And problem is that in spite of being rich in biodiversity, rich in medicinal and nutritive plants, we are not equipped so much to use this biodiversity for our well-being. In spite of rich wild flora which are vast with the medicinal and nutritive value, we don't use this to such an extent that we can boost our immunity, we can overcome the food crisis of the world or the surrounding states. So I think it's need of our to focus on the rich flora around us. So in this presentation we will see how we can use some wild edible tubers of this region. At present we see that we have near about 250,000 to 3 lakh angiospermic plant or flowering plant on Mother Earth. And out of this 20,000 plants are edible so far. And only 3,000 plant species are being exploited for food by man. And out of these only 150 plants are cultivated on commercial scale. Such attention being paid only to commercially important plants. Knowledge of young generation has become restricted to the wild fruits and vegetables which are being sold in shops. If we talk about Himachal Pradesh, this is a poor state with unique geography, and if wild edible plants exploited properly can act as a good livelihood. Food which we buy from the market is totally adulterated. So if we focus or shift to the wild food which is near to us, we can have a healthy food. Same time, this is free from the use of harmful chemical fertilizer and insecticides, etc. In most cases, the species are multi-purpose types. So many species are there, like fig, we call umre in local dialect, racimosa, and so many other species are there. They are multi-purpose type, means they have so many uses except food. If we try to domesticate these species, then they can overcome so many problems related to our economy or our social aspects. They are also source of income for rural community, and you all know that after COVID, all shift is toward the healthy or immunity boosting food. So if we shift on wild edible food, we will definitely boost our immunity. The species is that it go very deep in the soil, so there is a lot of labor to harvest the tubers. So if you pot this plant in tubers or containers, then it will be little bit easier to harvest the plant, or you can also pot that in urban areas also where you don't have proper space to grow this tuber. And this is second one, which is called as Pahadi 13 local dialect, and you can see the morphological difference between these two. So these two are under investigation, that while second one should be raised to the rank of species or not. But there are some other traditional methods that you can preserve this plant as a pickle, and you can make badiyan. Have you listened about that, tardi badiyan? Yes. Huh? So you can make tardi badiyan also. You can make balle, that is a traditional dish, and you can also make veg curry, that is called dum. So these are the method by which you can use, because it gives a lot of variety. So stuff the paste of these tuber in parantha, kachori, etc. And it's my experience that I find pantophylla more delicious as compared to ballophylla. Have you tried this plant? खाया कभी किसी ने? Huh? You can try, it is more delicious. Okay, you can also preserve in the form of pickle, and you can also grow this plant by sowing its bulbils, that we call seeds of Dioscorea species. So if we see its season of availability, they are present from pre-winter to spring season. You can harvest the tubers from the natural habitat. And if we talk about its nutrient content, you can see good source of vitamin B. Almost all the vitamins are present in this plant. And if we talk about mineral, calcium, sodium, potassium, copper, iron, magnesium, phosphorus. So you can see it is a good immunity booster also. It is applied on swelling of the joints, stomach pain, as well as it is extremely beneficial to treat high blood pressure, fight diabetes, lower the risk of heart problem. So you can see so many uses of using these wild plants which are available to us, which are free source of nature, and we can also cultivate these to ensure sustainable development. There is tuber of Erythema species. Have you listened about Erythema? Have you seen this plant, Erythema? Two species are present at higher altitude, that is Propinquinin or Jacumonte. These are the species of higher altitude. While the tortusum, that is present everywhere. Okay, so these are again very important tubers, and for most of the people they are harmful, especially the two first and third one, Erythema Jacumonte and Erythema tortusum. For many people they are totally harmful species, and they are afraid to touch even this plant, and they call it locally as a keede ki challi. And the only plant which can be used for edible purpose without any fear, that is your Erythema propinquin. This is the second species which is widely eaten by the people of hilly area. So first I will take this plant, Erythema propinquin. This plant belongs to Aeraceae family, and it is called bashar in local language, and you can see this plant widely grown in Kamrunag area. And its tuber and leaves both are edible, and you can identify this plant with single leaf with 3 leaflet. It's its identifying feature, single leaf with 3 leaflet. So you can see images of this plant.
मतलब बरसात में फ्लावर करता है?
Yes, Kamrunag में आप widely you can see here.
ये हमारे एरिया में भी है जैसे तो।
उसमें सर दूसरी स्पीशीज हैं इसकी, ये हाइट में होगा propinquin, जो कि वाइडली एडिबल है, वो ऊपर ही मिलेगा आपको Kamrunag, और उसमें तभी तो आप इसको आइडेंटिफाई कर सकते हो कि 3 लीफलेट होंगे, तो ये वाली स्पीशीज होगी, बट यहाँ नीचे नहीं होगा, ये ऊपर ही होता है. ओनली दिस स्पीशीज इज ईटन विदाउट एनी फियर. सो यू कैन सी it's a tuber, they are ground into powder or flour, and you can make chapati or roti with that flour. And its leaves, they can be made into patrodu or saag, whatever you feel good. And you can also add these plants with some modern twist in your day-to-day life. Modern twist means आप लीव्स को चॉप करके आप चिल्ला लाइक बना सकते हो, टेस्टी रेसिपी. आप उसमें पकौड़ाज में डाल सकते हो, फिंगर फ्राइज में डाल सकते हो, और इफ़ यू आर फाउंड ऑफ ईटिंग समथिंग जैसे पास्ता, उनमें भी डाल सकते हो. जैसे यंग जनरेशन दे प्रेफर टू यूज सम मॉडर्न डिशेस, तो आप मॉडर्न ट्विस्ट के साथ इन प्लांट्स को यूज़ कर सकते हो. बट नीड ऑफ आर इज टू यूज़ दिस प्लांट्स, ओके, क्योंकि हमारा नॉलेज धीरे धीरे कम हो रहा है. हम यूज़ करेंगे तो हमारी आने वाली जनरेशन भी यूज़ करेंगे.
वैल्यू एडिशन कर सकते हैं आप इसमें, वैल्यू एडिशन प्रोसेसिंग कर सकते हैं आप,
सुखा के भी रख सकते हो. हाँ, जैसे मोरिंगा लीव्स आती हैं वैसे आप यूज़ कर सकते हो. सो इफ वी टॉक अबाउट इट्स मेडिसिनल वैल्यू, यू कैन सी हियर dried roots are used to cure female disorder. Plant virtued in the treatment of asthma. So many leaflet are there. तो अगर आप काउंट करेंगे they may vary from 7 to 15. So it's identifying feature. और सर आपको वहाँ पे ये मिला, it's very common.
नहीं, हमने लीव्स तो काउंट नहीं किए, बट
हाँ, वो इसके सिमिलर इसके फ्लावर और
बचपन में हम देखते थे इस प्लांट को, और इस प्लांट को हम इसमें मींस हम उसमें ऐसा प्रेडिक्ट करते थे कि उस तरह यहाँ स्नेक हो.
यस, दैट्स व्हाई इट्स कीड़े की चली.
एक लोकल फियर था लोगों में कि बच्चों में भी कि हम उसके पास
नहीं जाएंगे. इवन इसकी स्टेम में भी आप स्पॉट्स देख सकते हो
सांप की तरह उसमें स्केल्स नजर आएंगे आपको।
बट ये स्पीशीज आपको कॉमनली मिलेगी हमीरपुर बिलासपुर लोअर एल्टीट्यूड में। यू कैन सी इट्स एल्टीट्यूड इज 800 to 1000 मीटर। तो ये है जो कॉमन स्पीशीज है और मोस्ट ऑफ द पीपल दे अफरेड टू यूज
इसका इंटरवाइव हम रखते हैं पानी से जस्ट लाइक जैसे घाट होता है उस तरह से।
So see that how people use biodiversity in earlier time है ना। और आजकल तो हम लोग कंप्यूटर और लैपटॉप और मोबाइल से बाहर ही नहीं निकलते हैं। That's why we have lost our unity also. So ये जो प्लांट है देखो बहुत कम लोग ये जानते हैं कि इसको खाते हैं। अगर आप जैसे हर्बल गार्डन जोगिंदरनगर के कुछ स्टूडेंट्स को मैंने देखा था कि they are collecting the tubers of this plant. It is very effective to cure piles. दिस प्लांट। और जो ट्यूबर अगर आप ऐसे ही निकालोगे तो इरिटेशन हो सकती है आपके हाथों में, क्योंकि मतलब इसमें थोड़ा सा इरिटेटिंग फैक्टर होता है सापोनिन ड्यू टू प्रेजेंस ऑफ सापोनिन। If you want to use this plant, you have to thoroughly wash the tubers or you have to properly dry them and then make their powder, and then you have to use this as a food supplement in small quantity to avoid its negative and to use it as a medicine. तो ये है। तो आप जैसे परांठे बना रहे हो तो आप यू कैन यूज 4 या 5 लोगों के लिए बना रहे हो तो हाफ स्पून आप डाल दीजिए इसके ट्यूबर के पाउडर का, या फिर आप ट्यूबर आलू सब्जी बना रहे हो तो 1 ट्यूबर इसका डाल दीजिए। सो यू नीड टू यूज दिस प्लांट फॉर मेडिसिनल यूजेस आल्सो। ओके, एडिबल फॉर एडिबल यूजेस यू कैन यूज इट एज अ फूड सप्लीमेंट। जैसे आप इसका देखो हलवा बना दो, ठीक है, तो ये विटामिन नहीं लगेगा और यू विल हैव इट्स एडिबल मेडिसिनल यूजेस। नीड ऑफ आर, as I explained to you earlier, these are very rich source of nutrient and medicine, and they have other uses also, as say these are source of amusement, they are source of aesthetic value, they have commercial value. So we should, in spite of not using these resources, we should use these sustainably. If we define sustainable, then sustainable means to use our natural resources up to their maximum extent and same time to preserve these for our future generation. Some people say that we should not use biodiversity or we should not harvest. We should use that our biodiversity to our maximum extent, but we should keep in mind that we should focus on sustainable development. So how we can do sustainable development? As you can see, we can harvest the tuber by habitat rotation. We can keep some reproductive part on the plant, or sometimes we can also plant, as you can see in the pic. All these plants I planted in my residence, and these are planted in the waste pots, which are sustainable development. When you utilize the waste, you make their best use by potting the plants there. And tuber, you need some large container, and you see here I have potted these two varieties, both Lophylla. So you can opt these in our day-to-day life. And last but not least, awareness. Awareness is very important, and see, if you aware student, then the half journey is finished. But again I must say that ठीक है, सेमिनार हो गया, लेक्चर हो गया, सुन लिया, वी फील गुड। जब तक हम इन चीज़ों को अपने बिहेवियर में नहीं उतारेंगे तो कोई फ़ायदा नहीं है किसी भी चीज़ का। तो इट्स माई एडवाइस और रिक्वेस्ट टू यू ऑल दैट whatever you gain from this presentation, try to use in your behavior, while it is to grow these plant, while to use these plant in your day-to-day life with some modern twist, or to disseminate the knowledge to other people. So it's a request to.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for enlightening us with your words of true wisdom. I'm sure that everybody present here would have learned something interesting about the wild tubers. Now I request Dr. Sunil Kumar for the vote of thanks.
Respected Dr. Tarasin Thakur, faculty members, botany, Dr. Manish, Dr. Ashwin, Dr. Madri, Dr. Divya, RD scholars of the department, then dear students. हम सभी जानते हैं कि अभी जो डॉक्टर कारासिन मैडम ने आपको बताया कि अंडर यूटिलाइज्ड जो ट्यूबर्स हैं, ट्यूबर्स के बारे में आपको इन्होंने बताया। बहुत बढ़िया जो है इनके एफर्ट्स हैं टू कंजर्व द अंडर यूटिलाइज्ड वेजिटेबल्स, स्पेशली ट्यूबर्स। इस तरह से बिकॉज आई एम एग्रीकल्चर स्टूडेंट, आई एम BSc इन हॉर्टिकल्चर। डॉक्टर चरणजीत परमार हमारे एलुमनाई हैं, तो मुझे सुन के बहुत अच्छा लगा। मेरी भी पुरानी जो मेमोरी है जो बीएससी में हम पढ़ा करते थे अंडरयूटिलाइज्ड फ्रूट्स और ट्यूबर्स के बारे में, तो सारी रिकॉल। मैं इसमें ज़्यादा नहीं बोलूँगा, मैं डॉक्टर तारा सिंह जी का धन्यवाद करता हूँ, साथ में सभी स्टूडेंट्स का, फैकल्टी मेंबर्स का भी मैं धन्यवाद करता हूँ कि मुझे आपने यहाँ बुलाया। मेरा एक इम्पॉर्टेंट मैसेज है कि जो बायोडाइवर्सिटी से रिलेटेड है, बायोडाइवर्सिटी का मतलब भी समझ सकते हैं जब हम प्रैक्टिकली फील्ड में जाते हैं और चीज़ों को देखते हैं, कीनली ऑब्जर्व करते हैं। हम मोबाइल में जितना मर्जी सॉफ्टवेयर यूज़ करें, जो मर्जी करें, बट जब तक हम फील्ड में नहीं जाएंगे, और खासकर इसमें जो सबसे इम्पोर्टेंट पॉइंट है, जो लिंक है, कैसे नॉलेज जो है वो आगे कैरी फॉरवर्ड होता है, उसमें सबसे इम्पोर्टेंट जो एस्पेक्ट है वो है